She's been on it's refractory, it was refractory cervical cancer, so it came back. So she was first diagnosed at 23.
That makes sense.
That's what I'm saying, that seems young to me for the initial diagnosis.
I think it's just weird to die from because it's not one of the faster cancers, and they can give her a hysterectomy, and there's a lot of things you can do. Yeah, like just pull it all out. Because when they do a hysterectomy, you have the opportunity to say, you know, leave this, leave that, and
You're talking about ovarian cancer or cervical?
cervical, yeah, they can just take it out
They
too.
just take everything out of there?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, because I had
Oh,
friends that have
I'll
that
check.
situation.
But I just thought that was, so that was that, oh, Luke Perry,
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
52 years old, he died of a massive stroke. What chapter we on?
We are in 6.
6. We stopped at oncogenes are mutated.
You
for-
named it, yeah.
I just thought, yeah, so, anyhow, all gonna die something, right? All right, talk about proto-oncogene, C-MYC and diet. Diet can induce, we talked about. What did I say in diet? What are some of the things in diet I talked about that are
Cancer, that's sugar.
Sugar.
sugars, or that's pro-inflammatory, but what else?
Ketogenic.
Well, they're looking at ketogenic to try and temper that, they think, that's gonna be interesting,
Mediterranean's the best diet.
okay?
Wheat.
Well, okay, wait, so wait, that's pro-inflammatory, what else?
But you did go over this slide already.
Yeah. But
He didn't finish it, though, no?
It turns on. It turns it on.
What turned it on?
What about diet?
What's your question?
The what American?
The sugar.
Oh,
Yes, but
Something in the
Right.
cylinder. It was a that or no?
yeah,
Was
and
it
a
something?
particular type of food, anyone in the back?
That can cause cancer. Oh yeah, barbecue, colon
There
cancer.
you go.
All the smoked food.
PAH is polyaromatic hydrocarbons. Nitrates and nitrites and preservatives and anything that's charcoal, anything that combusts.
don't they say that like the less cooked like red meat, the
Yeah.
less nitrates it has?
The less cooked?
Less nutrient.
Like so like steak.
Yeah.
Eating it medium rare is better than eating it well done.
Well, that's probably gonna be the pH is more than the nitrous and nitrosamines. Those are preservatives.
Okay.
So now the big thing with hot dogs, you get the ones that aren't what?
I don't eat.
They don't have those preservatives.
Nitrates and nitrates, yeah.
Ground PAHs are combustion byproducts. And anytime you burn something, you make PAHs. They
PAH.
become very damaging.
The byproduct.
Yeah. Of combustion. So tumor suppressors, we talked about this, right?
Yeah.
P93.
Yeah.
The protein suppressor checks your DNA that it has no tumors.
Right.
The proofreader.
So anything in terms of genes that control, so you also have genes that control programmed cell death or apoptosis, and genes that regulate repair of DNA, damaged DNA. They're saying that some people are just better equipped to resist cancer because they just have maybe slightly better DNA repair enzymes for whatever reason, or yours aren't quite as good or whatever. There's a big cancer study came out a while back, and this group, they got hammered for this announcement. And they went back, did a bigger study, but their announcement was what about cancer? Most people get cancer, it's why?
Well, because proliferation
But why do they get it to begin with?
Did he die?
and hereditary.
They said bad luck.
Oh.
They came out and they said most of it is just bad luck. And they got hammered for that. So they went back and did a bigger study, and guess what they found out?
Bad luck.
It's pretty much bad luck.
Bad luck.
What you're exposed to, what type of DNA repair enzymes you have, were you able to fix the damage, were you not able to
So
fix the
like
damage?
series of unfortunate events, one
Pretty much,
after
yeah.
another.
And then they basically said you could be the healthiest person in the world and still come down with cancer, or you could be that guy like some guy's grandfather who he smoked and drank every day his whole life and he lived to be 112. Well, yeah, he probably had a really good DNA repair enzyme.
Like people who don't smoke but still get lung cancer.
What
Yeah.
can you take to beat the future of dominant negative?
To a dominant egg, so non-functional, anything is a potential mutagen. You mean like so some specific ones that target P53 itself?
Yeah.
Don't know. Have to look into that. I'll check. I don't know if there's anything that preferentially goes after that, like a virus or something that can do it, and that could be because it could recognize that particular strand of message.
So was that the only way that it could get me to dominant negative, or?
No, it could just be just chemical mutations can do it, random replicative mutations can do it, viruses can do it. I don't know, I'll look into that this weekend when I'm there, give you something to review. Alright. So oncogenes are mutated, maybe this one. Oncogenes are mutated proto-oncogenes. And proto-oncogenes are just a gene that regulates what? Growth and division. And they call them that because they have the potential, if they get mutated, to become oncogenes, right? And oncogenes allow for the continuous and ongoing cell growth. In this case, a point mutation in RAS increases cell proliferation. It's called KRAS, and it's mutated in a bunch of cancers. The RAS-RAF pathway. Translocation is another way you can do it. What happens with some of these things? Translocation, hybrid oncogene fusion proteins. You'll get these transposons and stuff that'll fuse in the middle of the DNA, so when they make the protein now, it's messed up the protein, it's either gonna be active or inactive, stuff like that. Fusion protein. I've got one that shows how viruses do it in a minute. Gene amplification. We were talking about prostate cancer, remember the other day you asked about that? One of the ways it can be done is you get what's called gene amplification, high copy number. You just start making more of these receptors so they start getting turned on. Okay? HER2 positive, new increased proliferation, poor prognosis. This is going to be what? Breast cancer, right?
So did you say it's prostate because of the growth of the cells?
Yeah, and then we were just talking about what can cause it, what can cause it, and what can cause it to be antigen independent. And there's several different things that can do it. You can get, like I said, mutations in the ligand binding domain, so the receptor is made turned on. Other ones, they respond to other chemicals and things, other signaling pathway. The two-hit hypothesis, in ischemic retinoblastoma, is 2 mutations that cause loss of tumor suppression function. So that's, what they're finding out now is there's just not one little thing that happens that gives you cancer, okay? There's multiple things that have to happen before you get cancer. Okay? It's actually, your body's designed to prevent it from happening, and it takes a while for it to happen. So, and what are epigenetics? This is something else you guys are going to be exposed to now that I'm having to still go back and read up on. What's genetics?
Well, isn't it when there's the change but doesn't change the actual DNA?
Not that, it's just, when you're going to transcribe, when you go through transcription, what do you have to do first? If I need to transcribe a gene, how do I have to do first?
RNA messenger?
That's what you're going to make when you transcribe it, right? You make a messenger RNA. What do I have to do to the DNA first?
Translate it.
It's
Copy.
all stuck together, right? It's all folded up around, what are those stupid things called? I hate those things. What are the DNA's wrapped around?
Oh,
They're huge.
it's protein,
You
no?
know, little proteins when they're all wrapped up in chromosomes.
But yes,
Oh my god, I
I
can't remember.
remember
It's
1306 so
protein.
well.
The alleles or?
No,
It's a protein.
I think I just had a stroke.
The ribosome.
We'll call you Mr. Perry.
Well, it's right there, didn't like time, forget it. Anyhow, DNA is
I
all
can't
wrapped up,
remember.
right, and sealed off together.
The
Okay,
chromatids and chromosomes.
no?
We're still trying to get.
All right, we'll get it. The point is, you're gonna make the messenger RNA, you have to open up that DNA, right? You have to be able to get the RNA to it, to transcribe it, get to the promoter. The promoter's gotta bind the transcription factor, blah, blah, blah. Epigenetic factors are things that either help open it up or keep it sealed down, locked down. So it's called methylation and acetylation. Anything that is highly methylated, it's like putting locks on it. You can't open up the DNA, okay? So those are epigenetic factors. It's not genes, but if you, the methylation of the promoter and things like this can prevent the gene from being transcribed. So if you get over-methylation, you can shut down a tumor suppressor gene because it gets too over-methylated. Something like that.
Which would be like the RB, the P53.
P53 is the one that goes in checks for damage. All right, so right here, this is the one I'm talking about here. Tumor suppressor gene, normal growth inhibiting protein acts as the brake, right? Cell division is under control. If you have a mutated P53 thing and you get this defective protein, it's non-functional, cells replicate without what?
Interruption.
Interruption. So they don't catch that damage, they don't shut it down, they don't induce apoptosis. If you don't get that checkpoint done, once they get through that, they're just gonna keep going.
And that's
Okay?
P53.
This P53, there's a whole bunch of them. The P53 is just probably the best well studied,
Okay.
probably the big one. So tumor suppression genes act like brake on cell function. The section figure example shows a mutation. Once it gets through there, boom. It's a done deal. Okay. So, these are things that can promote cancer. I don't know where my title went. It went on there. DNA repair defects, that's a big one. If you have either genetic, inherited, or you get some damage later on in your DNA repair enzymes, that greatly increases the chance of keeping mutations, right? The rate of mutations just skyrockets. Defective growth signaling, kinases, uncontrolled growth. So you get these kinases that just keep phosphorylating things. Prostate cancer, you get signaling we're talking about from different pathways. The signaling gets messed up. And you just keep sending these growth signals that aren't supposed to be sent. Invasion of apoptosis. A lot of these mechanisms, even if they're going out of control, secondary mechanisms supposed to say, okay, I need to kill this cell. I'm growing out of control, I need to kill this cell, right? So overactive, NF-kappa B, RAS, loss of P53, any of these things can cause this. Loss may allow DNA damage to the cell to survive, and once it gets copied, a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times it's too late. Because from now on, those cells are gonna think that's the way the DNA is supposed to be. It's all fixed in there. Remember I said sometimes P53 doesn't send him into apoptosis, it does what to him?
Fixes the mutation.
Sometimes it'll just put it in senescence. So I'm not gonna kill it, I may try and fix it, but just senescence is when it stops dividing.
Senescence, that's what it means?
Yeah, and immortalized cells are what?
The polymerase.
So you don't go to telomerase, you go to cells, don't go into senescence, they keep dividing and they can keep dividing forever, right? So sometimes they sit in there, they won't allow them to go into senescence for whatever reason, okay? And development and sustained angiogenesis, so these are all tumor promoting. Right? And what is angiogenesis?
It's like stealing the blood supply.
Right, so how do you do that? Just order more of it?
You grow your
Go to
own,
Amazon, say I need some
Go
more
to
negative.
blood vessel or something.
they grow their own blood supply.
They start growing their own vessels, yeah, that's exactly what I know. The angiogenesis is when they start growing their own blood supply, because why do they need a big blood supply?
Because they go through glycolysis or something.
Right, they just need, they're just so metabolically active, they just need all that glucose for the main part, and oxygen too, right? So there's some big drugs out there called angiogenesis inhibitors. And the idea is, how would those work?
If they don't allow the blood vessels to grow.
So if you prevent the blood vessels from growing, what happens to the tumor?
Dies off.
It's called starving. They starve the tumor. That's what angiogenesis inhibitors do. You don't get good blood supply, the tumor starts to starve. Okay, this is the one I was talking about right here. It's called the three-step theory. Not the two-hit model, that's different. That's two-hit models of RB. This is a multiple-step or three-step process to get cancer. Okay. Step one is called initiation. Some cancer-causing agent damages the DNA. Ultraviolet light, benzene, polyaromatic hydrocarbons, anything, okay? You get damage to your DNA. DNA repair is what?
Unsuccessful.
Unsuccessful. You didn't fix it, it gets fixed in there, okay? Permanent mutation of the cells occurs. That's one thing. That's not cancer yet.
Not
Okay?
cancer.
So you have this damaged cell, right? It's sitting there, it's something wrong. Now the second step is going to be called promotion. And now you're going to be exposed to some carcinogen, some cancer promoter. Okay? The point with this is what? Is this causing another mutation?
Can initiation start with the exposure to carcinogen as well?
Yeah. It's a carcinogen or a mutagen, either one. What's the difference between a carcinogen and a mutagen?
Carcinogen is like a cigarette. Mutagen is like you create it.
Nope.
Right? No?
Carcinogens are some compound that can induce cancer or can promote cancer.
Like cigarettes.
Cigarettes, but a mutagen
Isn't that
It's
something?
something that actually mutates the DNA.
Oh, okay.
So
Like,
some
what
cigarettes
would
have
that be?
mutagens in them too.
Oh.
Most mutagens are carcinogens as well, but not all carcinogens are mutagens.
What would be an example of mutagen that's not carcinogen?
A mutagen, all mutagens are carcinogenic, because they're all gonna cause damage, so they're gonna promote cancer, right? What? Do they have something different? or what?
No, I'm just, I didn't.
Well, no, what do
You said they're both, okay, so,
Okay, a mutagen is something that mutates your DNA.
yeah.
That by itself probably gonna make it a carcinogen, right? Because it's
Yeah.
gonna, can induce cancer. But not all cancers, or not all carcinogens, sorry, mutate the DNA.
No, that's,
They-
what, that's what I was asking.
Oh, okay. Oh, so what's one like that?
Yeah.
Chronic inflammation
Okay.
is a promoter. Chronic alcohol exposure, if you've got some damage in your liver, you set up this
Because it doesn't
profile.
actually mutate your genes.
No, it's just, it's just sending more growth signals. Anything that can promote the growth can be a carcinogen like that, a promoter. Okay?
So it's a promoter.
So that's the thing, so first, what they're saying, the idea here is, you get the first hit causes a mutation. Okay, that may not do anything, but if you set up this promotive environment, for lack of a better word, then you're gonna do what?
Then you get
Constant,
Growth.
yeah, you're gonna get it, so cause either genetic alteration or inhibits apoptosis of the cells, or some of them just promote growth, okay? Now you get clonal expansion with the tumor, but even this isn't the whole deal, right? The last one is progression, and progression occurs if what?
If you do not get treatment?
This is even before that, so this is just what they call carcinogenesis, right? Occurs if irreversible damage to DNA occurs in promotion, so up here you start getting even more damage, more mutations.
Metastasizes with distant body parts.
The what?
Metastasizes to different body parts?
Well, that's gonna be metastasis later on, but.
Mm.
Accumulation of mutations and continued cellular transformation, and then malignant tumor forms, and that's gonna be metastasis part later on. The point is, you start doing what? You get even more genetic damage, you get more genetic instability, remember? Cancers have high genetic instability, right? So you start getting more and more mutations, accumulations of these occur, and then you get what? Transformation is when you undifferentiate and you transform from a functional cell to a tumor, cancer cell, right? And then that's what you get. And then you can go to a malignant tumor. The point that what they're trying to say is, theoretically, and of course, is this 100%? No, but theoretically, as long as you can stop it before you get the progression, you should be able to stop the tumor formation completely, or at least a malignant tumor formation. But again, these are just the three-hit theory. All right. So in initiation, cells are exposed to dose of a carcinogenic agent, making them susceptible to malignant transformation. Something is setting this up. It's got one mutation or two mutations, right? What's promotion? So I put more in here. Unregulated cellular growth in an already initiated cells caused by various chemical and growth factors. Some cancer promoting environment is set up. Constant exposure to alcohol, constant exposure to benzene if you work around gasolines or things like that, right? This is what? Reversible. You have not created a malignant tumor yet on this stage. If you can remove that substance, alcohol's a good one, right? If an alcoholic's got some damage in his liver already, he's got that inflammation from chronic alcohol abuse, and you've got cirrhosis, but not too bad, you pull that alcohol away, what's gonna happen?
You heal.
We get healed, but you may prevent this from going on. You may be taking that promoted
From it
growth.
being irreversible.
Hmm?
From it being like irreversible.
Well, cirrhosis damage is pretty much a done deal, but you may stop tumor formation, right? Or let's say you work around, I'm trying to think of some problem. Smoke. You work in a restaurant, and you start getting cancer promotion, you work around, you used to work in the restaurant where people smoke. We'll talk about what smoke is, cigarettes are. As soon as you get away from that smoke, you're getting away from what? One of these chemicals is promoting that growth. Or if you're constantly being, let's say it's like a breast cancer. You're constantly being exposed to something in your environment that's estrogenic. Okay, follow me on that? That estrogenic compound is gonna induce what? Growth, right? So it's gonna make things grow, it's gonna start sending these growth signals. Let's say it was in the water. You take that out of the water, now what?
You're not growing as much estrogen.
You're not getting exposed to that estrogen anymore, so that chemical what? That stuff has been removed, so you stopped it at the promotion stage, theoretically. Guys, remember, this is all textbook stuff. Things happen differently in the real world, but this is sort of the idea behind boom, boom, boom. Okay? May bind a receptor to the cell surface in order to affect intracellular pathways that lead to increased cell proliferation. Estrogen. Okay? Inflammation. Chronic inflammation. Acute inflammation usually counteracts cancer. You want to kill it. But chronic inflammation is what? Cancer promoter. That chronic inflammation also gives you that pro-tumor formation environment, right? All right. And then progression. Tumor cells acquire malignant phenotype. That means it's undifferentiated, it's been transformed, it's now what? A tumor, right? Changes that promote invasiveness, metastatic competence, autonomous growth tendencies, that's all that contact inhibition, where they have to be attached to each other, they can just autonomously grow on their own. That's when they can become metastatic, right? Increased karyotypic instability. What does that mean? Yeah. No, I just like you that on purpose. What is karyotype instability?
Changing chromosomes?
Huh?
Changing chromosomes?
Chromosome. So when you get that nice karyotype, a nice healthy one, they all look nice and they all look pretty. You get one of the whole bunch of karyotype instability, what happens inside? You ever seen one? So you don't have that nice little picture. You got chromosomes that are broken in two. You've got ones that are in parts. You may have chromosome duplication. The point is that karyotype's all messed up. And so progression to cancer required an additional spontaneous mutation. You start getting more and more of these mutations, just genetic instability. Right? That's three. That's the idea. That's the theory behind it. The three hit here theories: initiation, promotion, progression. This, if you get to this, is the done deal, right? Okay. Something is called a complete carcinogen, and that's what Trevor leaves in his little book right there. Somebody take his little book. A complete carcinogen can act both as an initiator and a promoter, and cigarette smoke is a classic example of a complete carcinogen. It can both initiate cancer, and then you keep smoking, it acts as a promoter. All right, y'all get that? What's with the whole front row? What's going on? That's kind of bizarre.
Is it?
Put me your stuff right.
I'm still trying to look for that protein that you're talking about that wraps around the chromosomes. Is it the chaperones?
No, don't get a chaperone. I used to let the chaperone out to eat yesterday.
Okay. Never mind. Oh, I'm looking for it.
Why can't I remember that stupid thing? Nobody from 1306 remembers it?
No.
I'll look it up in a minute.
Histone protein.
Huh?
Histone?
Histones, thank you. Histones,
Okay.
yes.
It's done.
So the chromosomes are wrapped up, your DNA gets wrapped up around histones, and that helps packages all that nice thing. Thank you. I could not remember histones.
It's done. Okay.
Did you say histones? Too?
No, I was looking for it.
Oh, all right. Host environmental factors leading to cancer. Hey, let me show you this. This one I'm talking about cigarette smoke right here. Cigarette smoke is what we call complete carcinogen. This is something that can initiate and act as a mutagenic and act as a promoter too. Right?
Vaping too?
Huh?
Vaping too?
What?
Vaping too?
Oh, I don't know, but they gotta wait and see about
I'm
vaping.
joking.
No, they show that vaping does initiate some of the cellular damage that the cigarette smoking does. When do you start accumulating cellular damage from cigarette smoking? How many cigarettes do you take? How many years?
It doesn't matter. It depends.
One.
Yeah.
All right, heredity. Do you have some inherited? Do your DNA repair enzymes not work as well? Do you not have the DNA repair enzyme to get rid of the thymine dimers, whatever it is that gives you a predisposition to get cancer? Does that mean you're going to get cancer?
No.
No. People always say that. If you have BRCA1 and BRCA2, are you going to get cancer?
No.
No. You just have a higher what?
Risk.
Chance, higher risk of getting it. Hormones. Again, estrogen, testosterone. Carcinogens, chemical carcinogens, radiation exposure. You can put what?
Cell phones. What about TV?
No, TVs now put out so little radiation
No.
anymore. When I was a kid, they said, don't set so close, you're gonna get cancer.
Microwaves?
But just sort of like of not having it in
The
your
old
room.
microwaves used to leak microwave radiation like a sieve. And you were supposed, the new ones are really pretty good about that. Plus microwave radiation isn't that bad. Oncogenic viruses, I want to talk about this in a minute in particular, okay? Immunological mechanisms. Your immune system is supposed to detect cancers and kill them, right? I think other people have if they don't, that's a problem. Stem cells, those cancer stem cells that just keep growing and growing and they're not affected by the chemotherapy. They're trying to go after those things. Angiogenesis, angiogenic factor production or loss of angiogenic inhibitors. These cancer cells just start making their own blood supply. And then your microenvironment. They're finding out this is more and more important in terms of cancer than they thought it was. They call it the tumor microenvironment now. So the tumor now isn't just the cancer cells themselves. There are also other cells around them that promote their microtumor environment. They can protect them. So multiple cell type, cytokines, growth factors. They turn off the immune system that's supposed to go after the cancer. Pancreatic cancer in particular has a stromal layer around the cells that grows with the tumor cells, and the drugs can't get through it. So all these things can come from. All right. Oh wow, look how much y'all I forgot I had it up here on the table.
What did you want to talk about oncogenic viruses?
Okay, no, go ahead. So again, heredity linked about 50 types. BRCA1 and BRCA2, 80% lifetime risk by age 80. Again, that means by the time you reach 80, you got an 80% chance of what? Getting cancer. Even at 80, you still have a 20% chance of not getting cancer, right? So people, yes, but there was that big trend for a while. Christina Applegate was the first one to do it, to get bilateral mastectomies if they were both genetically had what?
The
You
mutation.
didn't see that for a while?
Yeah, so did Angelina Jolie.
Did she do it too?
Yeah.
So it was just, to me, I don't know.
But it's because her mom had breast cancer too.
And it may be, I mean, that's, you know, those are all personal choices. Hormones, increased cell division, environmental estrogens. What are environmental estrogens?
Would it be like chickpeas? Like you can eat chickpeas for more estrogen production? Or is that not?
Chickpeas are, where are chickpeas? Are they
Like
growing
hummus.
Are
Hummus.
they hummus? So they're growing
Like from
protein.
chicken?
Huh?
No. Hummus.
They're peas made out of chicken?
No,
I don't know.
something else.
What you mean by
Regardless.
environmental. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know
okay.
what you mean.
Okay, let me back up, because this got out of control.
It's probably food, but
It is food, environment, not just food. Anything that's,
Is soy one of them?
soy is one, that's when you're talking about chickpeas, that's what I was asking. Soy, they found out is estrogenic.
That's what it is, it's meant for that guy.
So
Yeah.
because it's a type of soybean, or is it?
No, because they've got phytoestrogens in them. They got plant chemicals in them that are estrogenic.
Which is probably
Estrogen in the environment. They guess whose water supply in Texas has the most estrogen in it?
I'll pass now.
Everyone. They actually went down and looked. Guess. Denton, Texas.
Denton.
Why
Right
Denton,
outside-
Texas?
Right outside of Dallas.
Oh,
Outside north of
cattle
Dallas.
maybe?
Huh?
They're cattle? Do they have
No,
like cattle?
no. They take
Why their
municipal
water supply?
Huh?
Why does their water supply have more
Now, high levels
estrogen?
of estrogen and some estradiol.
Is there a pharmaceutical company that like
No,
releases
no.
water?
That's Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico got abused by the pharmaceutical company for years. What two colleges are in it?
DNT.
University of North Texas, it has a major female population, and TWU, Texas Women's University.
So there's more women?
More women,
Oh, they're urine.
more birth control,
Oh.
more estrogen compounds in the water supply. It actually was in it.
Like, do they pee on hormones?
I know. Like I don't think
So
so.
that's what.
How does it get into the water supply?
They eat.
Okay, that's what I was asking. I just didn't.
They just did that test, and they were like, whoa. But anything can be. What's not in water bottles anymore? Bisphenol A, right?
BPA.
BPH.
BPH, yeah.
BPH, the plasticizer, which makes plastics. Back in the day, plastics were very hard and rigid. You put plasticizer in, they become.
So that they wouldn't melt in cars and stuff?
Well, they become more malleable and pliable. Well, BPH is an estrogenic compound. There's just a lot of them out there. Anything that can act as a, there's also, environmental antigens, they just happen to be rarer than estrogenic compounds. We're talking about the immune system. What I say, I don't know what happened to Kaposia sarcoma. Sarcoma disappeared. What do we mean by Kaposia sarcoma?
Harposa.
But just in particular, Kaposia sarcoma. You don't hear about it as much as you used to. It was an indicator disease for HIV infection back initially, because it's caused by a virus.
Wasn't Harposa sarcoma was the
Yeah, like
the
a
spots and
yeah.
stuff? So that's why everybody, like, they thought you had HIV or they looked like that.
The
Right,
lesions?
yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's a skin lesion to get on, they're kind of a red skin lesion. And normally the virus that causes it, your immune system is very easy, you can take care of it. So that, and have you ever seen those immunomodulating drugs for rheumatoid arthritis or for Crohn's or
Yeah.
for all, they say you may come down with what? Lymphoma, right?
Yeah.
Because they're modulating the immune response. Okay, when we talk about chemicals, direct or indirect acting, 30% of all and 80%, 85% of lung cancers are due. Due what?
Oh,
To smoking. Okay, what are the other 15%? Anybody know? Radon's one of the big ones.
Radon.
All right, and then benzoapyrene, PAHs, these are all combustion byproducts, all highly carcinogenic. All right, radiation, we talked about this, let's go through this quick. Leukemias in A-bomb survivors, 30 times the normal rate. Dose-dependent age, gender, time of exposure, onset 3 to 35 years, more long ago, talk about that. Oncogenic viruses, this is what I was spending more time on. HPV, Epstein-Barr virus, this is HHHV, Kaposia, one that calls that 60 HPV strains. How many of them are procarcin or oncogenic viruses?
One? Maybe?
I think there's 6 now.
Oh, never mind.
I thought it was 16.
16 that can induce cancer?
Something
Or-
like that, or 11.
They're 11, they keep finding more and more and more, so I don't even know. Hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and then the HTLV1 leukemia virus. All right. What I hold on, let me look at something. I don't have it in there. Son of a- How do viruses cause cancer? We'll stop after this. I want to get through this thing by Friday. Although I may not be here Friday, so keep an eye on your email.
Is that
It
what
changes
are we gonna have
the-
quiz?
Yeah, I'll maybe do something. I may
Group quiz?
Yeah, I'll maybe give you a group quiz or
Is
something.
it gonna be over this chapter or chapter 12?
Chapter 12. I'll leave something chapter 12. I mean, just put it online, too, so just keep an eye on your emails, all right? Because I want my flight.
It changes the shape.
It changes the cell shape.
How does it change the cell shape, though? How do you think a virus could cause cancer?
Well, a virus changes DNA, so would it be through there?
That's one way. But one, some of them, like these two guys right here, are they just cause that chronic inflammation in your liver. So when you talk about inflammation being a promoter, initiator, but other ones they do that. So let's say you have P53, and you have a good copy of P53, right? But now you have a virus that comes in, and the virus inserts its DNA right in the middle of your P53 gene in that one cell. Now, is that P53 protein going to work?
No.
No, when it replicates, it's gonna have, there's probably gonna be some viral promoter here anyway, so the gene probably won't replicate anyway. But even if it did replicate, because I have the promoter here, what would that protein be? Some mix of P53 and a viral protein, so it's not gonna do anything. So that's exactly how it's causing a lot of.
So like
They-
a point mutation?
They could be point mutations, they can actually be whole insertions, not just a single insertion. They could be-
Deletions or also like?
Yeah, but it could be a whole insertion of a whole viral genome, they could shove right in the middle of there too. So it's gonna really mess it up. But it could be an insertion, a deletion, yeah.
Substitution, right?
Probably not virus, because these are ones, you're talking about ones that are integrating their genome into the DNA of yours, like HIV. So it's not gonna be point mutation, it's gonna be the whole thing gets shoved in there, so. How do you go in your using certain machinery, you might be able to list some important mutations, or they just by the whole mechanism, they get wrapped up, I have to look at that one a bit more. Usually we talk about ones like HIV and stuff.
What's HHV carposa?
Which one?
HHV.
That's one that causes carposis sarcoma.
So it's a type of HIV?
No, it's a different virus, it's a cancer.
Oh, so you can get carposis.
Carposi?
You can get that without HIV?
Yeah.
It was just.
Yeah.
So
If you could-
there's like a secondary and HIV weakens immune system.
Yeah, so you can't fight off the virus.
Okay.
The reason they knew about it, some people who were severely immunocompromised for other reasons were coming down with it.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's caused by a virus that most normal immune systems have no trouble getting rid of. This was his human T-cell leukemia virus 1. There. I don't remember what that was. That's also
Human T-cell.
retrovirus like HIV.
Like HIV?
Because it affects the T helpers?
Retrovirus, they integrate their genome into yours, but there are other ones that do it too. I have to look into that, see what exactly, how much have to get integrated, or if you, they can elicit point mutation. They might, I don't know, never thought about it. I always looked at retroviruses. So Cancer Society developed an acronym, caution, change in bowel or bladder habits. Always look at your poop. Does that mean you have one funky looking poop? Does that mean you got
really
cancer?
don't.
No.
No. I told a friend that one time, and yeah, then you want to know. A sore that doesn't heal, unusual bleeding or discharge, thickening or a lump in the breast or any other location, indigestion or difficulty swallowing, obvious changes in a mole, that's the big one, right, for what? Skin cancer, and nagging cough or hoarseness. This scared me because when I used to bartend, they could still smoke in bars. I would get a cough that would hang out for about 3 months. And I thought I had cancer every year. All right. We're done.
You're not gonna be able to finish this.
But again, you gotta be careful of all those things.
I know.
Take a chance sometimes, so get something like that, and then what?